and what I want to be doing, which is exactly that, creating that environment where people are like, oh, dang, I can put down this whole ball of thing I've been carrying, trying to fix myself, and I can just learn a skill set. Like, and the skill set progresses really quickly.
Yes.
Because our psychology is talented at the skill sets that I teach. You're not getting like where there's just one genius in the group. No, our human psychology is built for the skill sets that I teach.
I love that. Simple. I'm going to give an example of athletics right now, of the sports world, since, I've been talking to a lot of athletes lately. I've been attracting a lot of athletes, and, these...
I'm an athlete, or have been. So, there you go.
I will consider myself a spiritual athlete. I don't know, like for fitness and all of that. No, that's not my skill set. That I haven't chosen to get that skill set. See, I'm learning. But like, for example, I'm going to just give the example of Tom Brady, the quarterback that just won like seven, what are those called? Super Bowls. Like he's considered the best quarterback in the world. But I heard an interview of his with Oprah. And they said, so were you always like this fast? He said, I could never run. I was the slowest in the group. I was the 199 choice of, 200 something people. He said all the things that were the reviews of his. They were like saying like, he won't be able to be a quarterback. He won't be able to run. He won't be able to be fast. He will be punched. He will be every single thing. And he said, and that was true. I love that when he said that was true, because I didn't have those skills. Yeah. And I just trained to acquire more skill sets. I just heard that interview yesterday. And then, and he was so kind and so like benevolent in his approach. Zero saying that he was the best in the world. He said, the difference between me and other people that think that I'm the best, he says, I hate when people tell me I'm the best in the world, because I'm always looking forward to learn new skills. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. And he said, I just learned the skill sets. You cannot run. I'm going to learn how to run. You cannot lead. I'm going to learn how to lead. And he said that when he began to nourish the skill sets of within who he was choosing to be, that's when it was not that he became better. He just gained more skills.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that, what's fundamental to the work that I do is I also believe care is a skill set. I wish it wasn't, but it is.
And you love it. I'm gonna let you talk about this, because of all the people I've known, and I know a lot of people, I think one of my first conversations with you were, and I hope I can share this publicly. Now, we'll edit it. But it was like you were really caring about a neighbor of yours whose child was, running alone in the streets. A little care. I felt that care. I'm in Las Vegas, you're in Switzerland, the neighbor is I don't know where, but I felt the energy. You said like, and this child is alone in the street. She can get hit by a car, and you cared as if it was your child. And you care for your neighbor, possibility of her having a grief moment of her child being injured. And the caring and taking action upon it, which a lot of people don't usually appreciate genuine care, it's rare. It really touched my heart. So talk about that, because I think, and I invite everyone that is listening to imagine how will your world be different, or your business, or your client's life, or your children's lives, your neighbor's lives, yourself in the mirror, if you truly, really cared.
Mm-hmm. So the care the skills that I'm talking about is self-care, but I'm not talking about self-care like bathtubs and bath bombs and things like that. But
yes.
The actual skill set of caring deeply for yourself, so that you matter to yourself, so that your life matters to you. Because imagine you're approaching any kind of life skill or skill set, and the internal narrative is like, you're never going to do this. You really suck. You're this, you're that, just this really nasty internal narrative that a lot of people carry. And this is the first place that we address. Because if we don't address that, any skill set is difficult. So let's just say I have an exercise with ice or cold water with my clients. And it's not the cold water that is the exercise. It's how are you talking yourself through it?
Oh.
How are you relating to yourself through something extreme? What kind of narrative is happening? Is it coming from like, I got you? You're doing great. Yeah, this is hard. I believe in you. Or is it coming from, oh my God, this sucks. This is horrible. I'm terrible. I'm weak. I'm fragile. I can't do this. And you know, I've never been able to do this and I suck. Like eventually, like how that goes down to that. Which place are you coming from? And you want to cultivate, obviously, the first one. Now you can choose the second one, which is that's most people's normal default choice.
Yes.
Is the mean voice in their head. I call it blame, shame, and guilt. And it's the second layer of like, so that gets removed. But care is the thing that lets you know in a visceral, somatic, psychological way that you don't need to be fixed. I can care for every aspect of myself. The ugly ones, the ones I don't like, the ones, you know, I can care about that. I can care about what's happened to me in my childhood or my trauma or anything I've been through. I can care about that without making it like making me bad or wrong. Like it's not okay those things happened.
Yes.
To me.
Yes.
Or to anyone. It's not okay. And I can care for that without it being like something I have to get rid of or fix or heal from.
Oh, I love that. That, you know, the narrative there's a lot of narratives about unworthiness in the world, but I think what you just said is like the solution for.
I agree.
For that narrative.
Unworthiness is a narrative and only that. I call it synthetic.
A narrative,
It's not true.
I'm in with you.
Yeah. One of my really clear things is like my value, my worthiness is not a question or a discussion. And neither is anybody else's.
That's right.
I will not engage. No, that's not a question or a discussion.
I love that of you, Shanti. You know, I have so many notes. You know, this is going to be so beneficial for people. But what you just said, I want to go into that so people can experience that through your modeling that you are doing right now. That it's not a discussion. It's I'm not going to even entertain that conversation. So tell people why. Because it's very powerful. You know, for me, I feel it, and I have many areas in my life where I'm. You know, if people come to me like, oh, you lack, I'm not even going to entertain that. It's not something I want in my field. It's not something I even want to give life to for others either.
Well, it's also not true, right? I call these things synthetic. Okay. So
talk a little bit more about that. I love that.
So the idea, so unworthiness comes from this, we live in a world of transaction. And transaction for goods, transaction for services, transaction, and it's bled into, it comes from religion and psychology. It's bled into that we become transactional, like as if a life is a transaction. This cannot be true, at least not in my own experience of myself and interacting with other people, the animals, the planet. I can't see it. I don't see it. It's just something that's not true. And so I'm not going to have a conversation about it. I'm not even going to entertain. I'm not even going to give the narrative a benefit.
I love that.
I just won't engage. And then I don't have, sometimes I feel, I don't feel insecure anymore. And oh my God, it's not that I didn't. I don't want anybody to think that like I'm some perfect human being. Yeah. But I don't have doubt or any of those things anymore. Sometimes I feel tender. I feel scared. I feel unsure about a position I'm taking. But then I'm going to wait until that develops inside of myself before I speak that position.
Yes.
Because that's what you do when you're making choices and you're mature and you care about yourself. You don't push yourself into a position you can't hold.
Right.
You wait till the position takes hold.
Wow.
But the whole thing of unworthiness is like the worst thing we've ever told ourselves.
But I love, I'm bringing this narrative, this topic into the podcast because it's a narrative that it has turned into a business.
Yeah,
it has
big
turned
time.
And some people have chosen to believe that that's true.
Yep.
They have purchased that narrative, and then that's why. a lot of people.
I don't know about you, but I get a ton of people who've done years and years and years of personal development.
I was about to say that. It's like,
where does it stop?
It's, you know,
who says, so this is how you know it's synthetic. Where's the place where you're now finally worthy? Where is it? And who judges that? And who sets that? And do we all get there at the same time? Do we let's say that worthiness is hit when you have some home with 5 rooms. What if I don't want a home with 5 rooms? Does that mean I never get to be worthy? Like, it's weird. It's just, it doesn't hold weight in the real, like, actual living life. It doesn't hold any weight at all.
I love what you just said, actual living life, just your rational thought, you know.
I call it pragmatic. Yeah.
It's just that synthetic thing. I think we could apply it to a lot of things.
A lot of things. There's a lot of synthetic. Yeah.
You know, it will be incredible to make a list like all of these synthetics, not only of the.
Well, my main synthetics are blame, shame, guilt, unnecessary fear, unworthiness.
Shanti, I have more notes. But tell me why. Tell me a little bit about blame. I don't want you to give like all of them because I know that.
I don't care. I'll give it all away.
You are so generous. So I want to use your time.
I'll talk about it all day long.
Tell me, I am so excited. So Tell me about blame being synthetic. It felt the fake. I just felt like it's so fake.
Blame, shame, and guilt are the antithesis to responsibility.
Yes.
Responsibility is real. It's not synthetic. It's a choice. It's something that we do. People avoid responsibility because we've been inundated with the synthetic indoctrination of blame, shame, and guilt.
Wow.
And so it makes it hard for somebody to stand up into a real skill set of responsibility if they're constantly bombarding themselves or being bombarded externally by these forces. And that's what they are. They're external constructs.
Yes.
They're narratives, they're stories. A young child cannot reference shame, guilt, or blame until they've been taught it. So they're not a natural way that we move around the world. I move through the world without any blame, shame, or guilt, and I'm still a really great person, and I do all the things that, I follow all the rules, whatever. I match these things, right? I'm not a psychopath, is what I'm saying. But there's this idea that you will be a psychopath if you give up blame, shame, and guilt. But you cannot move into. That's true. You cannot move into maturity with it. Wow. It's the borderlands. If you cannot become a mature, like fully integrated human being, adult person in the world with blame, shame, and guilt on the docket. They're synthetic, and they're synthetic because they feel worse than shit.
Yeah.
So there's pain, there's grief, there's things in life that are real and hard and intense. That's the human experience. That's real to the human experience.
Yeah.
Blame, shame, and guilt are something painfully, they hurt. And it's very, very different. It's how you know they're synthetic. And they don't come on their own. They come with a lot of story. They come with a lot of talking, internal talking, right? You don't just how sometimes you just feel sad and there's nothing. There's no, you don't have like a mental, it's just a feeling. You don't have that with blame, shame, and guilt.
Oh no, the stories, the stories Correct. Of blame, the stories of
synthetic.
The identity, the identification with the identity of I'm suffering.
Yeah, I like to say like the difference between when you live with blame, shame, and guilt is like when you don't live with it. Hold on, let me see. How do I? Shit happens, right? Like that shit just happens. And when you're living with blame, shame, and guilt, you do shit happens. So that must mean I'm a piece of shit. When you live without it, you're like, shit happens. I navigate it and life goes on.
Yes.
Like, it's just like that simple. Boop.
You're putting integrated adultship, mature adultship in what it sounds simple, but a lot of the work you've done, it's been a lot of undoing, yes. Right? A lot of the undoing, which is, in spirituality and everything, we meditate.
Well, I have 4 kids, and I always say they raised me really well.
Oh, I love that, Shanti.
But that's because it was horrific in the beginning. I had 4 young kids, and it was really bad. I was yelling every day. I was frustrated every day. I was overwhelmed every day. I didn't want to get out of bed every day.